Okay, so we've examined different types of cells, and we've noticed they have different shapes. And then we learned that cells make up tissues, and there's epithelial tissue, there is connective tissue, there is muscle tissue, and there is nerve tissue. And when we take tissues and put them together, and they function for a specific reason, like the stomach for digestion, we went and got organs, which is the next level of organization, the organs. And we saw that when you have several organs, which all are involved with the same function, like digestion, so esophagus is an organ, the stomach, the duodenum, the rest of the small intestine, the large intestine, the rectum, that is an organ system. So let's take a look at some of the other organ systems, and you can fill in your chart as we go along. Another system, an organ system, is called the respiratory system. And you can see some of the organs here is the nasal cavity, okay, the pharynx, which is the back of the throat, okay, the larynx, the trachea, okay, and the larynx is going to keep food from going into the digestive system. But anyway, the larynx, the trachea, and the lungs, okay? And the respiratory system has the function of bringing in oxygen and getting rid of the wastes, carbon dioxide, okay? So you've got several organs making up this organ system called the respiratory system. Okay. Another system is the integumentary system. Integument means skin. Okay, so there are different organs here. There is hair, there are glands. There's different types of glands. So you see this is one type of gland here, okay? And there's another gland here that opens up into the hair follicle. So we can see a couple of the different glands, and you can see the hair follicle. And the integumentary system also includes the nails, and the integumentary system includes, of course, the skin. So here's the layer of the skin, and we see also the sublayer. So the integumentary system is an organ system. It's the skin, and when you add in the hair and the nails and the glands, you then have what we call the integumentary system. The skeletal system is another system. It's made up of all the bones, okay? The bones that are in blue here, that's the main axis. That's called the axial skeleton. And then hanging off of that or attached to that are the appendages, which is the appendicular skeleton. So the bones, all the bones make up the skeletal system, okay? And it's really subdivided into the axial or the main axis and the appendicular portion. The muscular system, this is the actually the skeletal muscle system we're looking at here. Muscles that are going to enable us to move our arms and legs and so forth. And you're familiar with a lot of these muscles, the pectoralis, the biceps, the triceps, the abdomen, the rectus abdominis muscles, you know, the six pack, and the quadriceps. You have made up of actually four types of muscles and so on and so forth. So we have all of the skeletal muscles making up the skeletal muscle system, okay? And then we have a nervous system, and the nervous system is made up of a brain, the spinal cord, and then all of the nerves that originate and go out into the periphery, okay? So the nerves are going to be long axons, and they're going to emanate or begin from the brain and the spinal cord and go out to the various parts of the body to innervate the different organs. So this is the nervous system, okay, made up of all of these different organs, okay. The endocrine system are the glands, and the glands, so for example, there's a pituitary gland in the brain area, and they secrete certain hormones. And there's also the adrenal gland. Okay, the adrenal gland is going to be situated on top of the kidneys. The testes, they are part of the endocrine system because they make testosterone, okay, or the ovaries, which make estrogen and progesterone. The pancreas is a endocrine organ because it makes insulin and glucagon, but it's also part of the digestive system because it makes digestive enzymes. But right now, we're looking at it as an endocrine organ. The thyroid and parathyroid glands make hormones, okay? And so does the pineal gland. So all of these are part of the endocrine system. They are the ones that make hormones that get secreted into the body, and they travel around. They are chemical messengers, okay? But some of them overlap. So for example, the testes also makes sperm, which makes it part of the reproductive system, okay? The ovaries also make eggs, so it makes it part of the reproductive system. But here we're seeing that the ovaries make estrogen and progesterone, that's endocrine, and the testes make testosterone, which is also an endocrine, part of the endocrine system. So some of them have two functions. Here's the digestive system again, the esophagus, of course the mouth, the esophagus, and the esophagus goes down to the stomach, and then from the stomach we go to the duodenum and the rest of the small intestine, and then the large intestine out to the rectum. But there's also accessory organs that lie outside the tract, like the liver is part of the digestive system, the pancreas, the gallbladder, okay, the salivary glands up on top. These are all accessory organs of the digestive system. We have the circulatory system, which is the heart, the arteries, and the veins, okay? And we have the blood that goes from the heart to the lungs. That makes up what is called the pulmonary circuit. And then the vessels that go out to the rest of the body is the systemic circulation, okay? So there is a circulatory system. Then we have a whole system of vessels also similar to arteries and veins, but these are the lymphatic vessels. And included here are the lymph nodes and the spleen and all the different nodes. And this system is involved with proteins and it's a little more complex than that. We'll get to that another time. But the lymphatic system kind of overlaps with the immune system because it also is going to be involved with producing the immunoglobulins. We'll see that in a minute. But anyway, here is the lymphatic system. It's a whole series of tubes and ducts. And we have the lymph nodes and the spleen and bone marrow and other structures as well to make up the lymphatic system. The urinary system, okay, also sometimes called the excretory system, includes the kidneys to get rid of the liquid waste, the kidneys. And then we have these tubes that go down from each kidney. Okay, they go down to the bladder. Okay, these are called the ureters. And then from the bladder to the outside, we have the urethra. Okay, in the male, the urethra is very long because it goes through the penis. In the female, it is very short. Okay. So this is the urinary system to eliminate waste, and it's involved also with fluid balance. The reproductive system, the male reproductive system, you have testes, penis, prostate gland, okay, seminal vesicles, the vas deferens, okay. In this case, we're talking about the fact that the testes make sperm, and the sperm then are going to go out through the penis to deliver it to an egg, okay? Female reproductive system, you have ovaries, then the fallopian tubes, which go to the uterus, okay? The uterus opens up into the vagina, and of course, the ovaries are going to be what gets attacked or is where the sperm arrives. So the sperm has to go in from the vagina, has to travel up through the uterus, and it's got to go all the way up to about the uppermost third of the fallopian tube where it will meet the egg. So the egg is released from the from the ovaries into the oviduct. This fallopian tube is also called an oviduct or a fallopian tube. It's got a few names. It's also called the uterine tube. But the egg just travels a little distance, and the sperm has got to come all the way up here to penetrate the egg, okay? Here's the immune system. So again, remember we said it overlaps a little with the lymphatic system. The immune system, we have the tonsils, okay, we have the spleen again, we have the bone marrow. This is going to be the system that is going to produce the killer cells, the T cells, the B cells, the immunoglobulins. This is our system of defense, okay? All right, so that takes care of most of the systems, which you have on page 9, and you can fill in the function and the different organs, and we basically have gone through all of them, so you just have to complete the table. So at this point, okay, we have all of the different organ systems. Okay, if we take all of the organ systems that we have just examined on page 9, respiratory, integumentary, skeletal muscle, endocrine, nervous, digestive, circulatory, lymphatic, immune, urinary, and reproductive, and you put all that together, as we saw earlier in the other picture, if you put all of that together, okay, you get the individual organism. Okay, so now we have the next level of organization, the individual organism. In this case, it's a tiger, okay? Could be a human, okay? It could be a cat, whatever. So at this point now, we're going to enter into what are called the ecological levels. So if you look again at page 1, where we have the whole, all the levels of organization, we have now finished the biological levels because we have gotten to the individual organism, and now we're going into the ecological level, okay, the ecological level. So let's go there. Oops, wrong place. No, I did all this. Okay, and the ecological levels, well, we have populations, then communities, and then we have also the ecosystems and the biomes, okay, which we will do in the next module.